Hello, welcome to part 2 of the RotoBaller ranking special for week 15 of the NFL season, the fantasy football playoffs. In this video, we're going to cover the tight end and wide receiver rankings. And if you haven't yet, you can click the link to like and subscribe and also get our quarterback and running back rankings for week 15, which also went up earlier today. As a reminder, this video is being recorded on Thursday afternoon, so if you're watching this later, you can click the link below and get our up-to-the-minute rankings so you can see where we're at on Friday or Saturday or Sunday if you're watching it on those days. We're going to start with the tight end position. We got the familiar faces at the top. George Kittle, number 1. Travis Kelce, number 2. Mark Andrews, number 3. Rob Gronkowski, number 4. And Dawson Knox, number 5. These are kind of the top guys. I know Knox is not somebody you normally see up there, but he's getting massive passing down volume. Emmanuel Sanders is now hurt and likely not going to play. So even though Gabriel Davis will get on the field, I think that's more looks for Knox. If Josh Allen is at all limited by his foot injury and can't scramble as much, look for him to work over the middle of the field to Beasley and Knox. So Knox is definitely a surefire tight end 1. Outside of those top 5, we have Darren Waller at 6, Dallas Goedert at 7, Mike Gesicki at 8, Zach Ertz at 9, TJ Hawkinson at 10. We've got some injury concern guys in this tier. Obviously, Darren Waller, it's Thursday. We need to see if he practices Thursday and Friday coming off that IT band issue. It's a big game for the Raiders, so expect him to play if he can, if he's healthy enough to get out there. If he's healthy enough to get out there, we should still assume pretty large volume for Darren Waller. Even if he's not as explosive as he was before, he should still get work over the middle of the field and in the red zone, which keeps him in the tight end 1 conversation. TJ Hawkinson didn't practice Wednesday, so you want to keep an eye on his practice reports. The Lions don't really have anything to play for, so we're less confident that he plays because they're really not going to risk injuring him or putting him out there at under 100%. But that is somebody you want to keep an eye on. Dallas Goedert, he had that blow-up game before the bye. So it's something you want to keep an eye on. I know people are going to say, oh, it was the New York Jets. No, Goddard was running ridiculous amounts of routes. He was on the field for almost all the snaps for the Eagles. He's been seeing massive workload since Zach Ertz got traded. He just wasn't really getting the targets, wasn't hitting on the receptions. But it was only a matter of time before him running all those passing routes was going to hit. It hit against the Jets, but don't believe that was a fluke. He is definitely somebody to consider against Washington. And then Zach Ertz should see an uptick in volume with DeAndre Hopkins out. Zach Ertz is kind of now the main red zone option. It's really just him and AJ Green that are built like red zone targets. So I definitely think that Ertz is going to be that red zone option in the passing game and now more over the middle of the field. And then rounding out the top 15 at tight end for us, we have Dalton Schultz at 11. We have Pat Freiermuth at 12. Kyle Pitts at 13. Noah Fant at 14. And Tyler Conklin at 15. So Schultz is now just down a little bit now that the Cowboys have all of their passing options with Lamb and Gallup and Cooper. It's just not a sure thing that Schultz is going to get these targets. He's still an option in a good passing attack, so you want him out there. He's a low-end tight end 1 now. Freiermuth and Pitts, really 2 high-profile rookies, seeing a lot of usage, seeing a lot of routes. Freiermuth we like a little bit more because that red zone usage is really high, a lot of red zone targets. And Pitts just hasn't really been successful. He's being used out wide a lot. He isn't really able to kind of break contain on these stronger cornerbacks or linebackers, and now that he's the focal point of the defensive scheme. And then Tyler Conklin is somebody you should consider as a solid tight end 2. I know it didn't hit last week, but if Adam Thielen is out, that's more targets for Conklin. And also he's getting a lot of red zone targets. So we like that. It's maybe not as consistent, but if he hits on 1 or 2 touchdowns, that's a massive week for you. And now we're going to move to the wide receiver position. If you haven't yet, please click that link below to like and subscribe, get all of our content for the fantasy football playoffs, and help other people to see our content. The top wide receivers are guys that you know and love. 1, Devontae Adams. 2, Cooper Kupp. 3, Justin Jefferson. 4, Dante Johnson. And 5, Tyreek Hill. I know it might be weird to see Deontay Johnson up in this tier, but he's getting so many targets. Chase Claypool does not seem healthy. He's running fewer routes, seeing a lot fewer targets than he has in weeks past. So Johnson is kind of the massive focal point of that passing game. And that volume is something that we really like up here. All the other guys, super explosive, locked into your lineups. 6 through 10, we have Chris Godwin at 6, Deebo Samuel at 7, Keenan Allen at 8, Stephon Diggs at 9, Cordero Patterson at 10. Diggs is down here at 9 a little bit because of the way that defenses are playing the Bills, taking away the deep passing game, a little bit of Josh Allen's injury, and a little bit of he might see Stephon Gilmore in coverage this week, and that's going to be a tough matchup. Still wide receiver 1 for you, but not in that top tier like the other guys. Chris Godwin is somebody we need to talk about because I know we always talk about like there are too many mouths to feed in Tampa. He's seeing so many targets of late. He saw massive 15 targets against Atlanta, and then against the Bills, he saw 15 catches against Atlanta, not just targets. And then against the Bills, he had 9 in the first half. I mean, this is somebody who's really involved over the middle of the field. He's kind of a rock-solid option. Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski, they go up and down a little bit, but Godwin is the most consistent of those guys. 11 through 15, we have CeeDee Lamb at 11. We have Mike Evans at 12. Hunter Renfrow at 13. Jamar Chase at 14. And Tyler Lockett at 15. We've got to talk about Renfrow. He's been just absurd since Darren Waller went down. He is being used a lot over the middle of the field, but also on deep passes. I think people just kind of think of him in like this Wes Welker mold, and he does get open a lot over the middle of the field. He does kind of have that short area shiftiness, but he's also hitting on bigger plays, and he's somebody who's just been kind of like a locked and loaded option for us in DFS and in fantasy since Waller went down. Even if we get Waller back, I don't really think that he's going to be 100%, and they're not just going to phase out Renfrow because of what he's done in these last few weeks. So he's somebody who should still feel really confident playing, especially with Cleveland dealing with so many COVID issues. And then Chase, Evans, Lockett, these are guys who can hit on big plays. They definitely need to be in your lineup every single week. Rounding out the top 20, we have Jalen Waddle at 16. We have T. Higgins at 17. We have Amari Cooper at 18. Mike Williams at 19. And then Brandon Cooks at 20. We need to talk about T. Higgins as just a super reliable, maybe wide receiver 1 in that offense. Definitely at least a wide receiver 2 in fantasy. I know Jamar Chase was kind of like the big play guy early in the season and was the big name prospect. Remember that T. Higgins was himself a big prospect coming out of Clemson. He's a big body. He has good hands. This is a really solid wide receiver. And if Jamar Chase is getting a lot of defensive attention, T. Higgins is going to capitalize. Seeing a lot of single coverage. He's somebody that I think you should still start with a lot of confidence. Waddle, he had a bye week, so maybe we forgot. He's seeing tremendous amounts of volume. They play the Jets. This is a guy you absolutely need locked and loaded into your lineup. And then rounding out the wide receiver 2s, we have DK Metcalf at 21, DJ Moore at 22, Hollywood Brown at 23, and Devontae Parker at 24. Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown is somebody you got to keep an eye on the Lamar Jackson practice reports. If Tyler Huntley is in there, I do think it's a slight knock, even though the offense worked pretty well with Huntley. DJ Moore is a solid option because, again, the Bills don't have Trey White. And the Tampa Bay Bucks were able to move the ball pretty easily in the first half. We don't know who the hell is going to play quarterback for the Panthers, and it's not going to be good, any of the 3 options it is. But Moore is a talented player. He can catch the ball in space, catch the ball over the middle. He's somebody that I think you can start as a wide receiver 2. And then Devontae Parker, don't forget him. He came back, had 7 catches in the week before, now gets the Jets after the bye. He's super impactful in the red zone, so he's somebody that I really think that we need to be paying attention to. And then we'll round it out with a couple options outside of the wide receiver 2 tier we think you should be keeping an eye on. We have Julio Jones at 35, KJ Osborne at 39, Christian Kirk at 41, Donovan Peoples-Jones at 44, and Laviska Shenault at 59. So quick words on these. A.J. Brown's still not back. Julio Jones is the wide receiver 1 in Tennessee. Volume. He's somebody that we should be considering playing as a wide receiver 3. KJ Osborne, certainly in play. If Adam Thielen doesn't play, 89 yards and a touchdown on 9 targets last week. The Bears give up the most touchdowns on deep passes of any team in the NFL. KJ Osborne, super fast. He's somebody that could be really impactful for you. Christian Kirk at 41. This could move up even higher now that DeAndre Hopkins is out. We just don't really know how that passing volume is going to work. AJ Green is not really super dynamic, and Rondale Moore is seeing a lot more snaps. He's definitely used more in kind of like the short area, middle of the field. So Kirk could, I think, be the most consistent of those guys, and Rondale Moore could be the highest upside of those guys. Donovan Peoples-Jones, Jarvis Landry's on the COVID IR. If he doesn't play, Donovan Peoples-Jones is the wide receiver 1. Case Keenum is going to be at quarterback. We don't really know what that offense is going to be, but they're going to have to throw the ball to somebody. So maybe it's Donovan Peoples-Jones. And then 59, Laviska Shenault is just keep an eye on it. People were super high on him coming into the year. The offense was a total mess under Urban Meyer. Laviska Shenault was playing totally out of place as a boundary wide receiver instead of as a slot wide receiver. Misused. Maybe he gets used properly right now. Just keep an eye on the practice reports, see if we hear anything different. Maybe he's somebody that you just throw on your bench in deep leagues this week and just see if maybe we get that upside that we thought that we were going to get earlier in the season. And you don't feel comfortable starting him this week, and that's fine. But he's somebody who could hit for you if they kind of start using him in a way that maybe his skill set determines he should be used. As always, hit us up in the comments if you have any questions that you would like answered. Like and subscribe to this video to get all of our content for the fantasy football playoffs, and good luck.